Hey, what's up? It's time to talk about the Switch 2. I've had my Switch 2 for a good little while now, and while I've really enjoyed all of the technical upgrades that comes with owning this thing, I do have some thoughts that I wanted to share, specifically about my personal experience and whether I think owning one of these is worthwhile. But before that, what's going on? My name's Hiram. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. It's good to see you. I know the evil Switch 2 thing is kind of a meme on this channel, but I actually really like this thing a lot more than I thought I would. It's bigger, nicer. The magnetic Joy-Cons are cool, I guess. They're not really stable though, I don't know. Just drop it at any time. My gosh. The power it offers is cool. You know, the thought of like third-party games coming to the Switch 2 is exciting. Personally, I've never been the type of guy who cares to play third-party games on my Nintendo consoles, but for those who are limited to the Switch, I think that's great. Also, the game potential, you know, like with the Star Fox game coming out, that game would never run on a Switch 1 or anything like that, and it gets me excited thinking about future Zelda games and what we might see in the Zelda franchise. I'm really hoping for like a realistic looking, dark style looking Zelda, and I don't know, overall with the Switch 2, it's actually something I feel like I want to use, you know? My Switch 1 always kind of felt small and awkward to hold, and while this thing still is pretty awkward to hold, the fact that it's bigger makes a huge difference, and I've actually been bringing it around my house a lot. But this is not a Switch 2 glaze video. You read the title. How evil is the Switch 2? My main complaint with the Switch 2 is what it always has kind of been, and that is that it doesn't really feel like a Nintendo console. And I feel like they kind of missed a lot of opportunities. It feels way too similar to the Switch. It does not really feel like, you know, they went super in depth to make it a unique or a whole lot better of an experience, to be honest with you. They did change like some necessary things with the hardware side of it, you know, the kickstand on the back and like all that good stuff. But like, where are the themes, dude? Why is there no home screen music? Where's the Mii integration? It kind of feels like it's doing the bare minimum to make me feel like this is a good console. It doesn't feel like they went above and beyond to give me, you know, a unique experience. And I think that's been my main complaint with the Switch 2. It does not feel different enough from the Switch 1. I think of my 3DS and all of the features that the 3DS had, and I can't help but kind of ache for that on the Switch. Even the Wii, it has like the Mii channel, the news channel, all of these different things. And with the 3DS, you had a camera, you could do Street Pass. There were themes on the 3DS. It just kind of feels like we've regressed a little bit to a more modern and safe style of console. And does that affect the experience of the games? Absolutely not. But I think the mentality of Nintendo when they were making this, and just kind of the mentality of what they are now as a company, it definitely shows, and it definitely affects the experience. I've not played every single game that Nintendo has put out in the last year, but from what I can tell through online discourse, it seems like a lot of people are pretty dissatisfied with even the game lineup. The only game I personally own for the Switch 2 is Mario Kart World, which I got for 50 bucks on eBay. And I gotta be honest, there's not a single other Switch 2 game that I look at and I think, wow, I really need that. I have not decided yet whether I'm gonna get Star Fox. To me, it looks cool. I know people are losing their minds over the fact that it's like realistic and weird. And I'm not saying it doesn't look weird, but I kind of like it. But I don't know, like that's a huge part of the value proposition. It feels like a lot of their games do kind of feel like they're playing it safe in a lot of ways. The Switch 2 editions are just kind of piggybacking off of games that were successful at one time. You look at games like Metroid Prime 4, I was gonna buy that day one on my Switch, but then I heard it was bad, and I've never played a Metroid game, so why would I take a chance on that, you know? I'd rather go back and play one of the other Metroid games that I know is good. It feels like a lot of the games have been kind of missing, and I'm hopeful for the future because I got this thing pretty much just to play Zelda, right? If you know this channel, you know that I'm a big Zelda fan. I think it's hard because I think if Nintendo was tapped into what gamers want nowadays, they would have made the Switch 2 a lot more unique. The Switch 2 is cool and it has a lot of features, but it is so hard to recommend to people. I have a friend who, you know, he came over to my house and we were playing the Switch 2 and he was like excited about it. He thought it was cool. And I didn't want to seem like overly negative. I told him, I was like, hey, if you want to play Nintendo games when they come out, if you want to play Zelda when it comes out, get the Switch 2. But it is super hard for me to like tell people, go out and pay 450 bucks or now 500, I guess, starting in September because of the price increase. It's super hard to recommend this to people, you know? The games have not been hitting that hard. It just got a price increase and it just doesn't feel, you know, unique and special. The Switch got a pass because it was the first of its kind. I could look past the no themes and the no features and the no, you know, notes section for your game notes, or like, you know, just simple things like achievements, whatever, like all these different little things that you would expect out of a new game console or out of a Nintendo system. I could look past it because I was like, okay, this is their first time doing a handheld home console mix experience. But I look at the Switch 2 and it's super hard to excuse the lack of all those like unique things because they're on the table, you know, people have been begging them for years, and that in combination with the games not being that interesting and the prices of everything, it's just really hard to recommend to people. Do I regret buying a Switch 2? Absolutely not. I fought myself over whether I was going to get a Switch 2 for a long time because of Nintendo and their business practices. If you want to know my feelings on that, I have a video about it. I ultimately decided I'm not going to let the company stop me from playing games I want to play just because they're being lame. So I bought one on eBay. I'm anticipating new Zelda games coming out, but other than that, I honestly don't know if I would have bought this. So to you, whoever's watching, whether that be some random person from the homepage or one of my consistent viewers, I can only recommend this to you if you know you're gonna want to play Nintendo games. In your mind, if you're saying to yourself, when Super Smash comes out, I need to play it. When Mario comes out, I need to play it. When Zelda comes out, I need to play it. Get a Switch 2. If you're not that person, I honestly think you should spend your money on a Steam machine, which is something I've been anticipating for a long time. I don't know if I'll get, it just depends on finances when it comes out. But what that thing offers is way more interesting than the Switch 2. This video is all over the place. I'm sorry, I didn't really plan what I was gonna say, but I don't know, I guess to summarize my thoughts a little bit, like up to this point, I enjoy the Switch 2. I use it a lot more than my Switch 1. Oh my gosh. You know, maybe the magnetic Joy-Cons are a good thing. But ultimately, there's not much personality and interest and nothing that's making me like, I don't want to go to my friend and be like, you have to get a Switch 2. It's so cool. It's so fun. It's really just kind of like a meh experience up against the Switch. If you have a Switch and you're satisfied with those games and you don't need to play all of the new Nintendo games that are like kind of not that great coming out, just keep your Switch 1. I think Nintendo is grossly underestimating the power of like retro, you know, emulation nowadays. People are looking at consoles like the 3DS and getting that modded, or like the Ein Thor or whatever, or a Steam Deck where you can put whatever you want on there, or any of these little retro handhelds, and they release something like this into the market that doesn't really have anything like really interesting going for it, and it's super hard for people to look at this and feel like it's worth it outside of the games that are coming out. And like I said, the games have not been hitting for a lot of people. I know a lot of people really enjoyed Donkey Kong Bonanza. That game, it just doesn't look like it's for me. I'm gonna be so honest, like I've never really cared about Donkey Kong. I don't care what people say. I think his redesign is awful. It seems like everyone likes Donkey Kong's redesign, but I can't get behind it. I've never been a Donkey Kong fan though, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Anyways, I just wish Nintendo would have taken into consideration what gamers are really interested in nowadays. I think they really could have capitalized on, you know, adding some gimmicks or some quirks. I mean, just look at how many copies Tomodachi Life is selling already in its first couple of weeks of being out. People miss those kind of weird quirks of Nintendo and their consoles, and it is really disappointing to see those missing in the Switch 2 in 2026. Like, we've had the Switch for so long. It feels like we've taken 0 steps forward in the last however long the Switch has existed. I don't really know what Nintendo is thinking right now. I don't really know what kind of company they're trying to be. They're leaning a lot more heavily on third parties, focusing a lot more on, you know, graphical fidelity, raising the prices of games to $70. There's been a really weird, like, PlayStation-y vibe about Nintendo. You know, I own one of these now. This is something I can recommend to people who want to play Nintendo games. Get it at a good price though. Do not wait for the price increase to buy one of these. But I don't know, I guess I kind of just miss the days of Nintendo where they would do things just for the sake of you, you know, sitting in your living room and noticing it and being like, oh wow, look at that. There's like, you know, adding little details to their games or their consoles, or little features they would add to the experience of being a Nintendo fan and playing Nintendo games that I just feel like are kind of neglected, and it's left the overall Nintendo experience feeling a little bit hollow and a little bit underwhelming. I'm not gonna sit here and try to say like Nintendo sucks, everything they do is bad. I'm not gonna just rage bait. But I guess the point of this video is just to say the Switch 2 is good. It's a fun console. It's a solid experience, but it does feel like there's something missing. Anyways, what do you guys think? Do you guys own a Switch 2? What are your thoughts on it? Are there some games that you're hyped for? Personally, I'm really looking forward to Zelda and the potential Ocarina of Time remake that has been on my mind a lot since Star Fox got announced. Are you on the fence on buying one? Did this help you? I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Also, thank you so much for 3,000 subs. That's pretty dang cool. If you like the video, like the video. I'll see you next time.